welcome to Dave's Think Tank. Today's an exciting day because today I get to introduce you to the latest member of our pinball family. Internet, please meet Flash Gordon. I picked this up off Kijiji about 6 weeks ago. It was in playable condition and the seller had a professional work on it to get it to that point, but these machines are never perfect. If the past 6 weeks are any indication, this machine will be the source of numerous future videos. But just to bring you up to date for now, here are the major items I've been working on. Both flippers gave me a bit of trouble at different times, but in the same way. They were both stick up and not automatically fall back into position. They were both rebuilt before I bought it and fixed up with brand new parts, so there was no good reason for this. I replaced the springs on both with a couple of shorter, stronger springs, and they've been fine ever since. One of the bridge rectifiers was replaced at some point, but instead of mounting it properly, they had it on long wires and left it lying on the floor of the machine. Then, to make sure it didn't short against anything metal, they wrapped it in electrical tape. Except the big problem with these is they overheat, and by mummifying it in this way, they held all the heat in. I put in a new rectifier with a big heat sink on top. The game has a single drop target to block entry to the shooter lane, but the target would not stay up. The target has a spring to pull it back down, and that also pulls it forward when the target is raised. But the angle of the spring is really poor for pulling forward, and if it doesn't pull forward enough, it won't lock in place. I tried various things, but what eventually fixed it was to take out the spring and cut it shorter by about 5 coils. The shorter, stronger spring was then able to pull the target forward enough to lock it in place. This game is rather unique in that it has an up-down kicker. Sometimes it kicks the ball up the field, and sometimes it kicks the ball down the field. And again, it was not pulling in properly after kicking the ball. I replaced the plastic sleeves on both kickers, which got them pulling in smoothly again, but there were still issues. The kickers were not aimed in the direction specified in the manual. I determined this was because once the ball fell into the saucer, it would roll onto an angle such that the kickers did not have a direct line and would kick the ball out at an angle. So just as a test, I forced a couple of pieces of stiff wire into the saucer to support the ball and to see what would happen if the ball was hit dead center. What happened was the down kicker shot the ball straight into the glass. I checked the coil against the manual, and the coil in the machine was about twice as powerful as required. So I ordered the correct coil and installed it. The new down kicker was perfect, the right angle and the perfect strength. Then I tested the up kicker, and it was the perfect angle, but now it shot the ball straight into the glass. So this is the current status of the up-down kicker. I have it aiming at the wrong angle, again to protect the glass, and I'm hoping to get a potentiometer to adjust the strength of the up kicker, and we'll keep you apprised on that. The machine had some Mylar glued down around the artwork around the ramps and pop bumpers, which for some reason was not laying flat. It pulled up from the play field and was bunching up, so it needed to be removed. The way you remove Mylar is with cold. You take a can of compressed air, and you hold it upside down, and you spray it under and on the Mylar. The propellant coming out is freezing cold, and it freezes and cracks the glue holding the Mylar. Then you have to get rid of the glue. It dissolves with alcohol. And you have to do a little touch-up painting because there's always some paint comes off with the Mylar. And you have to create a new Mylar template. I did not glue mine down, as this only seems to lead to trouble. The shooter was really squeaky and rough. I pulled it out completely, cleaned every part thoroughly. I replaced the compression spring, the barrel spring, and now the action is nice and smooth. The machine came with colored LED bulbs, which is the easy way to brighten up your game using LEDs. You just pull out the old incandescent bulb and you pop in a new LED bulb. except they don't resolve the major problem of the old bulbs, which is these crappy lamps. I replaced a number of the lamps which were going bad, but there was always another one going. So one day I said, forget this, and I'm just going to replace every one of these crappy lamps with Yoppsicles. Yoppsicles, if you don't know, are these little electronic boards with a single, incredibly bright light designed specifically for pinball machines. Just remove the old lamp, solder this tiny board in its place. The other side of your playfield would be so neat without those ugly lamps sticking down everywhere, you won't even recognize it. And I've never had a problem with one of these going out or acting up. And here are all the lamps I was able to get rid of. Once the lights were all replaced with reliable lights, a number of issues became obvious. Lights that wouldn't work or were always on or flickered. I traced all of these back to the lamp driver board, or in one case the auxiliary lamp driver board, and found a number of bad SCRs. These are like a switch that turns a light on or off. Replaced the faulty components, and everything's now good. And I also replaced all of the back box lighting with LEDs. So it's 100% LEDs. Now for the fun changes. The apron was your typical dull, off-theme chunk of metal that you get with these 1980s machines. It featured the words Pinball and Bally and the 1980s address of the Bally Corporation. I designed a new apron using graphics from the internet. First, I cleaned up what I wanted to use from the old apron. Then I replaced the old design with images of Ming, Flash and Dale, a modified Flash Gordon logo, and rewritten instructions. I placed Ming so that when you drop a quarter, his ring lights up. There are 11 drop targets in this machine. The drop targets that came with this pinball were all white, and nothing theme related at all. I was sure the original must have had something more interesting, but I found they all had the same picture, a black outline of Ming's palace guard. I figured I could do better, so I designed a new picture of the palace guard based on the playfield artwork. I also thought it made no sense for the palace guard to be protecting the wood beast in the forest kingdom of Arborea, and so I designed more suitable objects to be overcome, including a snake, a scorpion, and quicksand. The single drop target protecting the entrance to the shooter lane needed to be something special, so I designed a picture of Princess Aura for Flash to deal with. All of these designs were printed on glossy photo paper and stuck onto the targets with double-sided tape. The game has two spinners which featured a really ugly face like some kind of kabuki mask. They were both really worn, dented, and chipped. I thought it'd be much better if they represented something from the film, so I replaced the one on the left with a photo of Voltan, the Hawkman, and the one on the right with Prince Baron safeguarding the Kingdom of Arborea. I attached both of these with the Handicraft Man's secret weapon, double-sided tape. And that's it. Oh, except I had to get a new sound card. The original sound card was going kind of staticky, and a combination of issues was causing it to actually interfere with the displays. So I got a new sound card, and one additional benefit.
aesthetic.
Yeah!